In the midnight glow where the stars align, we lose ourselves in the rhythm divine. Underneath the sky painted with dreams we're chasing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of As Above, So Below, Conversations Under the Stars. I'm Jody.
And I'm Mari.
And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite astrological times of the year, which is Leo season. Leo season starts on July 22nd when the sun leaves nurturing Cancer and it steps into that warm, radiant fire of Leo, which definitely spices things up, right? And then will remain there until August 22nd.
Bright and cheery, and the Northern Hemisphere, absolutely one of my favorite times of the year. It is just, it's busy time for sure because we're trying to pack it all in, but it's a fantastic, fun time of year. And I'm outside as much as humanly possible in the sun.
Yeah,
the sun of Leo.
Yeah, I think Cancer just asked us to slow down, and Leo is now asking us to, open up, lead with our hearts, and have some fun, right? I always think of Leo and the Leo house as the fun, right? Leo's the fun. It's the fire. It's the entertainment. I might be a little partial to Leo.
Yeah, it's playful. It's the inner child. It's joy. It's courage. It's our light, the thing that makes us, that authenticity. What is not to love? What's not to love about Leo, really?
Yeah. Leo gives us the courage to shine. And again, it's not about being that loudest person in the room. It's not about ego. It's just all about opening up and reminding us to shine our unique light and become who we are.
Absolutely.
What is Leo? So not everybody listening knows about astrology, but we'll just spend a few minutes talking about Leo and what it is. So Leo is a fixed fire sign. It is ruled by the sun. It's confidence, it's creativity, it's generosity, it's leadership, it's joy, it's children or that inner child, it's play, it's romance, it's authenticity. So as we move into Leo season, the energy begins to shift. Again, Cancer felt like it was that deep breath in turning inward. And Leo season invites us to exhale and step back into the world. It's almost as if the universe is asking us, now that you've reconnected to your heart, what are you going to do with it? Leo's ruled by the sun. It's the very center of our solar system. Just as planets orbit the sun, Leo reminds us to reconnect with the center of ourselves, with our hearts, with our joy, creativity, and our authentic expression. It isn't about ego. In fact, one of the biggest misconceptions about Leo is that it's all about wanting attention, when actually a healthy Leo's energy isn't asking, look at me. It's asking, am I being true to who I am? So there's a big difference. This season encourages each of us to stop shrinking ourselves, to make other people comfortable, to stop waiting until we're ready, to stop believing we have to earn permission before sharing our gifts. Leo reminds us that our light was never meant to be hidden.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think when Leo is in its highest expression, it isn't looking necessarily for center stage. It's just, because honestly, it's so busy being itself and it's so enamored and in love with everyone else being themselves that it's like, hey, here I am being so authentically me, and look at you being authentically you. And it's just as excited for the other. And let's play and create something together, you being you and me being me. And it's confidence in who I am without having to conform or fit a mold or shape myself into something or to perform, right? Because a lot of times performance isn't being fully ourselves. And I think Leo in its highest expression has confidence in itself. And speaking for myself, I often walk into situations struggling with my own confidence, but I have to remind myself that confidence is actually a choice. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's actually trusting that your authentic self is enough, even when the fear is present. And that is a choice and a belief to show up knowing that your authentic self is the gift to the world around you. And I'll go a little bit into some of the shadow sides, although we've touched on it a little bit, but like every sign, Leo has shadows. And when we don't feel safe expressing our authentic selves, we often compensate. And sometimes that compensation might look like arrogance. It could look like perfectionism. It could look like constantly needing validation from others. ironically, one of Leo's greatest shadows isn't being too much. It's believing you're not enough unless someone else tells you are. Mm-hmm. So the shadow can appear as seeking approval, fear of being seen, fear of failure, criticism, comparing yourself to others, hiding your gifts because they feel vulnerable, believing your value depends on applause, which it absolutely does not, and performing in a way that you think other people want instead of expressing yourself authentically. Leo, when expressing its shadow side, is actually self-abandonment. It's abandoning something that is truly you in order to either gain that applause or fit in, something like that, right? So many of us actually have learned to make ourselves smaller so others feel more comfortable around us. Not that all of us have this big giant personality, but some part of us conforms to fit in with the crowd, typically, right? Because we are pack animals. We want to fit in with the group. We want to fit in with the crowd. But the world and what that group, what our people, what our tribe really needs from us is us being authentic and then honoring that in other people just as much, right? So Leo gently shows us that our authentic expression is the exact gift the world needs. And if the sun didn't show up and shine each day simply because someone believed it was too bright, the whole world would suffer, right? Everything would die, right? Because if someone thought it's too bright, sun, why don't you back off a little? Then the entire planet would suffer. So that's like the archetype of what the sun teaches us.
Yeah. And I just want to talk about joy a little bit here because Leo season is the perfect time for us to rediscover that joy. One of my favorite things about Leo is that it reminds us to play. When's the last time that you laughed until your stomach hurt? Or when you created something just because it brought you joy, not because you had to or somebody expected you to do it. It's really about tapping into doing things because it's what you really enjoy. It's what your soul enjoys. As adults, we just become so focused on responsibilities that we forget to just have fun. Joy raises our vibration and it fuels our creativity. So it really helps reconnect us to who we really are. And Leo season is the perfect time to give ourselves that permission to play again.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, this has been happening naturally without me really even actively thinking about Leo season coming up, that all of these topics have been on my mind recently around asking myself the question, what do I actually want outside of expectation? Outside of what society deems as successful or what I quote unquote should be doing or how I should be showing up or the things I should be saying yes to. Do I really want to do that thing? And I've been practicing saying no more often if it truly isn't aligned with something that lights me up, that brings me joy, and it's not never with any attitude behind it, but just truly before quickly jumping to, yes, of course, whatever you want, I'll be there, packing my schedule. I pause for a moment and ask myself, is that something that genuinely lights me up? Would I and the people around me benefit from me being there? If I'm there grudgingly or not in my highest expression while there and I'm drained and tapped out and been doing too much, then how is that good for whatever group gathering this is or fill in the blank? And honestly, I think that having that be our first thought before just immediately placating to the people around us makes everyone happier. And I've been practicing that more, and I've really tapped into my heart more often about those kinds of things. And it has brought a sense of lightness, I will say, and joy and expansion of what lights me up.
Yeah. And if it doesn't bring you joy, it's okay to say, no, thank you. It took me many years to figure that out, but it is okay to say, no, thank you.
Yeah. And obviously there are things that we will say yes to, even if we don't want to do them. This is not a free ticket to just be selfish all the time. That of course is not what we're saying, right? We do show up for others in service and from our heart though, right? Is my heart in a place? Is my cup full enough that I can pour out on others in service? I can't pour from an empty cup. So if in Cancer season, I guess part of why I've been thinking about it probably is Cancer season, because Cancer season definitely encourages that you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's about going inward and taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself and mothering yourself. So probably some of what I've been going through is more Cancer season stuff, but it really does blend well with the lessons we learned from Cancer season with that Leo archetype as well, where we're coming out a little bit of our shell more, but we're doing it in a way that is authentic to us and is still in line with our heart.
Yep.
Okay, so let's break down Leo through the houses. So depending on where you have your Leo placement, we're going to just talk about what that is like for you daily, just natally in your chart, and then what might be coming up for you during Leo season as the sun moves through that area of your chart, and how to best work with this for you personally. If you have a Leo in the first house, if you are a Leo rising, you naturally move through the world with warmth, creativity, and a strong desire to express your authentic self. Others may experience you as charismatic or confident, though internally you may wrestle with questions about whether it's truly safe to be seen. You're really wearing that Leo archetype right front and center if you have this in your first house of self. So what might be coming up for you? Leo season shines a spotlight on your identity, your physical body, appearance, and the way you present yourself in the world. You may feel called to reinvent yourself, not by becoming someone different, but by letting more of your authentic personality come forward. This can be an empowering time to start something new, refresh your style, or simply just show up more honestly in your relationships and in your daily life. So working with this, notice where you're minimizing yourself to keep others comfortable. Express your personality without apologizing for it. Take care of your physical vitality and let yourself be seen, even if it feels vulnerable.
An essential oil that can support Leo in your first house would be jasmine oil. Jasmine is the oil of confidence and self-expression, so it encourages you to embrace your authentic beauty and shine without apology. And again, you can use essential oils in a diffuser. You can use them topically with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil. And diffusing's kind of the easiest. You just pop a drop or two in your diffuser and turn it on, and you'll get those aromatic benefits. And this jasmine oil smells delicious.
I love jasmine. I love the smell of jasmine oil.
Yeah.
That's one I use often. Okay.
Yes.
If Leo rules your second house, your sense of self-worth is closely tied to expressing your unique gifts. You often feel most secure when you're able to contribute something meaningful and creative in the world. So during this season, this may be highlighting finances, personal values, possessions, and your relationship with your self-worth. You may begin recognizing that your greatest assets are not just what you own, but the talents and gifts you naturally carry. Questions around pricing your work, asking for what you're worth, or investing in yourself may arise. For you working with this, reflect on whether your income reflects the value you actually provide. Invest in skills or passions that light you up. Practice receiving appreciation without minimizing it, and release the belief that your worth must be earned.
The essential oil that support Leo in the second house is magnolia. Magnolia is another favorite. Magnolia helps support self-worth, confidence, and receiving love, including for yourself.
If you have Leo in the third house, your communication tends to be expressive, heartfelt, and engaging. You may have a gift for storytelling, teaching, inspiring others, or bringing warmth into everyday conversation. So this season may encourage you to share your ideas more boldly. Writing, speaking, podcasting, learning, teaching, or reconnecting with your siblings and your local community may become important themes for you. Those are all subjects that come up in the third house. So you may discover that your voice carries more influence than you realize. Working with this, speak your truth with kindness and confidence. Share your ideas that you've been keeping to yourself. You've got good ideas that come from the heart. Start the creative project you've been overthinking. I love that one.
Yeah.
Listen as generously as you speak.
And essential oil that would support Leo in the third house is spearmint. Spearmint encourages confident communication and clear expression while opening the mind to fresh ideas.
If Leo rules your fourth house, your home is more than just a physical place. It is where your heart feels free to be fully expressed. So creating warmth, beauty, and a sense of belonging is often deeply important to you. What might be coming up for you? Family dynamics, home projects, emotional healing, or your relationship with your roots and ancestry, your home of origin may come into focus. You may feel inspired to create a home environment that reflects who you are now rather than who you have been. Working with this, create beauty in your living space. bring a new plant inside or put up a new picture, rearrange something, something that brings you joy in your internal space. Spend meaningful time with your loved ones, heal old family stories where possible, and allow your home to become a place of restoration.
Supportive oil for Leo in the 4th house is Console, which is a doTERRA blend. Console is an oil that is great for comfort. It supports that emotional healing and creates a feeling of peace and safety as you nurture your inner foundation.
If Leo rules your 5th house, this is Leo's natural home. So the themes of Leo pop up here. Creativity, romance, play, children, and joyful self-expression are central to your life's vitality. What might be coming up for you this season amplifies everything Leo naturally represents. So you may feel inspired to create, flirt with new possibilities, spend time with children, explore your hobbies, or reconnect with your own inner child. Joy itself becomes medicine. And I'm just going to say that across the board for everyone during Leo season. Joy itself becomes medicine.
Yes.
Working with this for you, make time for creativity without worrying about the outcome. It doesn't matter if someone sees your creativity ever. You can burn it when you're done if you want to. Whatever it is that you're creating, just create something just for you, just for the joy of it. Play simply because it feels good. Let yourself laugh more. Give yourself permission to create something, even if it's imperfect.
An essential oil that will support Leo in the 5th house is Passion. This is a blend by doTERRA, and it is oil of joyful enthusiasm. So it encourages you to reconnect with what excites you, and it reminds you that life is meant to be lived with curiosity and creativity. This smells amazing.
I want to smell that one.
Yeah.
Okay. If Leo rules your 6th house, you often thrive when your work feels meaningful and allows you to express your creativity. Daily routines support you best when they leave room for both purpose and enjoyment. You are someone who has to weave joy and a little bit of play throughout your work and your daily life, or life starts to feel real humdrum. So this season may highlight your work, habits, health, and routines. You may notice where you've fallen into autopilot and feel inspired to bring more intention, creativity, and vitality into your everyday life. Working with this for you, refresh routines that feel stale. Celebrate your small wins. Care for your body as the vessel of your creativity. I love that.
Yes.
Bring more joy into your workday.
An essential oil for Leo in the 6th house would be the Adaptive blend, and adaptive supports resilience, balance, and graceful adjustment as you create healthier routines.
If Leo rules your 7th house, relationships flourish when there is warmth, generosity, admiration, and mutual encouragement. Do you value partners and friends who celebrate your authentic self and whom you can wholeheartedly support in return? What might be coming up for you? Partnerships, close friendships, clients, and collaborations may take center stage as the sun moves through this house. This season invites you to notice whether your relationships create space for everyone to shine or whether someone has been dimming their light. Working with this, express your appreciation openly. Have courageous conversations with love from the heart. Celebrate your partner's successes as much as your own. Notice where people-pleasing has replaced your authenticity.
And essential oil support would be rose oil. Rose encourages vulnerability, compassion, and heart-centered connection.
If Leo rules your 8th house, transformation comes through wholehearted emotional honesty. Intimacy asks you not only to be seen at your best, but also to trust others with the parts of yourself that feel tender or uncertain. What might be coming up for you this season may be bringing attention to shared finances, intimacy, trust, emotional healing, grief, or deep psychological transformation. You may be invited to release old fears around vulnerability and step into greater authenticity. Working with this, let trusted people see the real you. Release control where it's no longer serving you. Explore fears with compassion rather than judgment. And remember that vulnerability and courage often arrive together.
Essential oil support for Leo in the 8th house would be the Forgive blend. Forgive supports emotional release, compassion, and letting go of the past.
If Leo rules your 9th house, you are often inspired by big ideas, philosophy, spirituality, travel, and lifelong learning. You naturally seek experiences that expand both your heart and your perspective. What might be coming up for you Leo season may inspire you to travel, study, teach, publish, or explore new spiritual and philosophical perspectives. You may feel called to share your wisdom rather than keeping it to yourself. Working with this, say yes to experiences that broaden your world. Share what you've learned. Read something that inspires your soul. And stay curious instead of needing certainty.
Essential oil support would be motivate blend, and motivate helps you move beyond hesitation and into that purposeful action.
If Leo rules your 10th house, your public life and career often flourish when you lead with authenticity, generosity, and integrity. You're not meant to, intimidate. That's not it. Don't intimidate people. You are not meant to imitate someone else's path. You are meant to leave your own unique mark in the way that you work. You are showing up fully authentically you. That is the contribution that you bring to your work. So what might come up for you, obviously here, career, purpose, visibility, leadership, and long-term goals may become more prominent for you this month. You may feel called to step into greater responsibility, share your gifts publicly, or redefine what success truly means to you. That's something that I ask people fairly often, actually. It comes up in conversation a lot because success is one of those things that we feel a lot of pressure around. And I often ask people, I stop them almost mid-sentence sometimes, and I say, can you tell me what success means? Mm-hmm. Meaning the definition of success is not a one size fits all. Each have our own definition of success, and it is not the one that society tells you. You have to self-examine your heart and ask yourself, what does success mean to you? It might look very different than the person sitting next to you. Yes. So especially for you, Leo in the 10th, this is a big deal to be authentic with what success means to you. Working with this, let your work reflect your authentic values. Stop waiting until you feel ready. That's a big one. Lead with generosity instead of perfection. Remember that your unique perspective is a part of your contribution.
And an essential oil for support would be bergamot. Bergamot is the oil of self-acceptance.
If Leo rules your 11th house, your dreams often involve contributing something meaningful to the world. Community, friendships, and collective vision become places where your creativity can inspire others around you. What might be coming up this month? This season may highlight friendships, organizations, collaborations, and future goals. You may find yourself attracting people who encourage your authentic expression, or realizing it's time to seek communities where your light is welcomed. Really asking you to look at your communities and the people that you're around. Are they allowing you to shine your light, or do you feel repressed or that you can't be your authentic self around those people? It might be time for new groups. So working with this, surround yourself with people who celebrate authenticity. I love that. I want to put that on my fridge.
Yeah.
Share your ideas with your community. Revisit your dreams that still call to you, and support others in shining just as brightly as you do.
And essential oil support would be wild orange. Wild orange invites abundance, optimism, and joyful connection with others.
Finally, last but not least, if Leo rules your 12th house, much of your creative fire and spiritual wisdom develops quietly beneath the surface. Solitude, contemplation, and your relationship with the unconscious become important sources of inspiration and healing for you. So what might be coming up for you? Leo season may feel more inward than outward. You may receive profound insights through your dreams, meditation, creative inspiration, or just moments of solitude. Rather than pushing yourself to be constantly visible, this season may invite you to reconnect with the light that exists within. And if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, we're smack dab in the middle of summer, and it's a busy time up here in the North. And so for you, if you have Leo in the 12th, really give yourself permission to go inward more and not let the pace of this season pressure you into keeping up. You don't have to. You get to do what is most authentic for you. And you might find yourself a little extra tired and needing more alone time as the sun moves through your 12th house. So just give yourself that permission. It's really okay. It really is. Go lay in the sun in quiet by yourself. It doesn't have to be going to a giant pool party every weekend. And so you're allowed. I'm giving you permission. Working with this, spend intentional time in quiet reflection. Create without worrying whether anyone will see it. Trust intuitive guidance that arises in stillness, and release old fears about your worth or your visibility.
And essential oil support for the 12th house would be frankincense. Frankincense deepens that spiritual connection and creates space for reflection and inner wisdom.
And now we are going to jump into the astrological weather of the month, or the transits that we're highlighting. There are so many things that we could talk about. I have a tendency to I'm trying to keep it to the big major things, but there's a lot going on this month. There's many forecasting astrology podcasts out there, obviously. So that is not our primary thing. We really try to give you the heart of this season itself. So if you're looking for more details when this squares that and so on and so forth, there are many podcasts that do that. We're trying to keep this somewhat concise for you, but give you highlights of what we're looking at for the month ahead. So right in the very beginning, Jupiter is in Leo. So Leo season officially begins on July 22nd, and Jupiter entered Leo a few weeks earlier, but I wanted to highlight it because it is such an expansion of Leo energy. So on June 30th, actually, is when Jupiter moved into Leo officially, giving us our first taste of a brand new year-long cycle. Jupiter is in a sign for approximately a year. So Jupiter is the planet of growth, wisdom, opportunity, meaning, and expansion. So if we take the archetype of Leo, which we know asks us, what lights you up? And then we blend it with the expansive energy of Jupiter, then it's asking, what happens if you trust and grow the thing that lights you up? So this transit really encourages us to expand into this beautiful archetype of Leo through the entire coming year, not just this month as the sun moves through Leo. Jupiter here is asking us to share our gifts more openly. You're going to hear a lot of things repeating because we've been talking about Leo. Develop our confidence from the inside out, take creative risks, lead with generosity, and rediscover joy and play. Things to watch for. Just remember, every Jupiter transit can become exaggerated. That is the shadow side of Jupiter, and it's exaggeration, making things a little too big. So in Leo, we look at the shadow expression similar to what we've already discussed, like seeking attention rather than connection, believing bigger is always better. That's a Jupiter thing. Needing recognition to feel worthy, or mistaking confidence for superiority. The invitation isn't to become louder or more showy. It is simply to become more authentic to your inner childlike creative nature. And that is all year long. And I love that for us.
Okay, next we have the sun in Jupiter opposite Pluto. And this kicks off the Leo season on July 22nd and goes into early August. The sun and Jupiter, both in Leo, stand directly opposite of Pluto in Aquarius. This is an archetypal meeting between two very different kinds of power. So Leo represents that personal radiance, and Aquarius represents the collective evolution. Pluto asks for transformation. Together they create the profound question, why do we want to shine? Is it to be admired, or is it to contribute something meaningful? This transit may expose the places where the shadow of Leo shows through, where our identity can become attached to external validation, success, status, or recognition. But it may also empower us to step into a more authentic expression of ourselves, one that's less concerned about the applause and more concerned about purpose. So working with it through this final week in July, in particular, notice where life is asking you to release control, pay attention to situations that trigger defensiveness or power struggles, and instead of trying to figure out how to win in a situation, ask yourself, what is this experience or struggle trying to transform within me?
Yeah, that's a powerful transit for sure. It adds extra potency to all of these Leo things and takes it deeper. Pluto is going to take everything deeper. We've got this fun and flirty and whatever Jupiter, big Jupiter thing and the Leo thing. And then it opposes Pluto, and Pluto's, hey, but for real though,
Right.
Take this seriously. Take this seriously. With all the fun and everything, how can I transform through this time? It's a cool opportunity, actually, for that first week of Leo season, kind of ended July right to the beginning of August there. Okay, on July 24th, after several weeks of reflection, Mercury stations direct again. Huzzah! Mercury is going to no longer be retrograde. So we start moving out of that deep introspection and internal nature that this transit likely brought for us, because Mercury was retrograde in Cancer, which is already very introspective and inward. And then when you have this Mercury going retrograde, it's also turning it more internal. So this gets things moving again. We're moving into a time here after July 24th, where our thoughts and ideas begin flowing with more ease again. Conversations will become easier. Decisions become clearer. This is a wonderful time to begin acting on any of the insights that may have emerged during the retrograde while we were rethinking and going inward. And if any little seeds were planted during that time, anything came up, it's a great time to begin taking action. All right. And then another big deal. This is a big deal here. I'm a lunar nodes person, if you know me at all. So the lunar nodes are changing signs July 27th. This is one of the biggest astrological shifts of the year. We've had so many, though. There's so many big ones this year, 2026 and 2025. There's just been so much, but I've definitely wanted to highlight this. So the lunar nodes change signs approximately every 18 months to 2 years, marking a collective shift around our evolutionary focus. So for the past cycle, we've been learning Pisces and Virgo lessons, and now we begin a brand new journey, North Node in Aquarius. Collectively, we're being invited to cultivate collaboration over competition, innovation over tradition, community over individualism, curiosity over certainty, authentic belonging, future-oriented thinking, and equality and shared contribution, which is just really interesting as we're looking at the collective right now and the conversations that have been coming up. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed more people talking about the idea of shared communities, shared gardens, growing food together, collective living. Obviously, a lot of technology and future-oriented thinking is happening. And the shadow side of that comes up too, obviously, because we've got Pluto in Aquarius, which is really highlighting the shadow of Aquarius as well. But as the nodes shift here, the collective consciousness is really thinking in this Aquarian way more. And so I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that collective group thinking. How do we work together to create a better world? Which I am I literally have goosebumps as I'm talking about it. So the archetype of Aquarius reminds us that no one changes the world alone. And I don't know if I write that note and now that I'm saying it, I'm like, that's not entirely true. As we just talked about Leo, right? You can change the world alone. You can, but we are stronger together. That's what I really should have written. We're stronger together when we each come with that radical authenticity of our Leo-ness. And then we join together to create something beautiful, right? With that Aquarian archetype. Yeah. So at the same time, of course, as the North Node is in Aquarius, we have the South Node in Leo, which is highlighting the shadow side of Leo. And what about that is asking to be released. So it doesn't mean that we're letting go of Leo's gifts at all. We're releasing the parts that keep us disconnected from our authentic self. And we've already been talking about a ton of that during the podcast already. So interestingly, we're discussing Leo season while simultaneously beginning a collective process of refining what healthy Leo actually looks like. And as we've been discussing already with Leo, the goal isn't to shine less, it's to shine for different reasons, because sharing our gifts is part of serving the whole. So I'm excited about this shift. I love Pisces and Virgo. Those are my notes. So that was a fun journey for me, but I think the collective is really going to benefit from this nodal pairing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, next we have the full moon in Aquarius, which happens on July 29th. So while Leo reminds us to shine as individuals, again, repeated theme here, Aquarius reminds us that our unique gifts are meant to benefit the collective. So this full moon invites us to find the balance between me and we. So you might find yourself asking, where do I need to express my authentic self? Where have I been holding back because I'm worried about what others might think? And how can I use my gifts to make a difference? So the full moon brings illumination, clarity, and release. Some things that have been hidden may become clearer, allowing you to let go of old expectations or limited beliefs that have kept you from fully being you. This is a beautiful time to celebrate your uniqueness while remembering that every light shines brighter when it contributes to something bigger than itself. Kind of back to all the things that Mari was just talking about with the notes. There's repeated themes here.
Absolutely. And to me, this particular full moon is without question one of the most potent and powerful full moons, maybe of the year, simply because the moon in Aquarius joins Pluto while standing exactly opposite the exact conjunction at 6 degrees of Leo of the sun and Jupiter. The sun and Jupiter join at exactly 6 degrees Leo, and they are in opposition, which creates the full moon, right? In the opposition to the moon joining Pluto. So there is extra potent energy in this full moon. It is intense. And if you have a moment to pause on July 29th to honor the full moon and what we're releasing, etc., just a question I thought I would throw out for you to meditate on or ponder is, if I stop performing the version of myself that other people expect, who am I underneath all of that? And what is it that I truly desire to contribute?
Yeah.
Just something to meditate on, because it's really driving home these themes, that full moon. It's very potent.
And some essential oils that you can pull in to support the full moon would be blue lotus. I don't know if you have experienced blue lotus or not, but it's a wonderful oil. It encourages that spiritual awareness, intuition, and inner wisdom. It's a beautiful companion for releasing old patterns and trusting that guidance that comes from within. Another option would be frankincense. Frankincense is an incredible oil, and it helps quiet the mind, deepen meditation, and strengthen your connection to your intuition. And it's perfect for that reflected full moon.
I love blue lotus. Blue lotus is such a archetype of the divine feminine, deep intuition. It really can enhance your dreams. Blue lotus is a really powerful oil.
Yeah.
Or tea. You can drink it as well.
Oh, I have not tried blue lotus tea.
Yeah, that has also some interesting benefits. It's very heart opening, and it can be fun to drink before spending time with your partner. Let's put it that way. Okay, just throwing that out there. All right. On August 7th, Venus is going to change signs. Venus enters Libra, returning to one of the signs that she rules, bringing a beautiful shift of her energy into harmony, diplomacy, beauty, and balance. Relationships may feel lighter after Venus spent time over its transit through practical Virgo. We may feel more inclined to compromise, reconnect, collaborate, and appreciate beauty in our everyday lives. I love this. This softens some of the personal struggle of the Leo and Aquarius opposition. When Venus enters Libra, everything softens a little bit, right? So this is an excellent time to strengthen your partnerships, beautify your environment, and spend intentional time with your loved ones. Love becomes less about fixing. That Virgo archetype has a tendency to maybe sometimes be a little critical if Venus is in Virgo. And now things are more about relating rather than fixing and just being in communion with one another.
All right, next we have Mercury opposite Pluto. This happens August 10th. Mercury now enters the same transformational dialogue that the sun began earlier in the season. The transit can bring powerful conversations, hidden truths, unexpected realizations, breakthrough insights. So speak carefully and listen deeply. Words carry weight during this transit. This is an excellent transit for therapy, journaling, honest conversations, and psychological insights. This transit is the most potent August 10th through the 14th.
Yeah. Do you have a tendency to pay attention to these things and try to use them during the windows when they're the most potent? Or are you more just letting life flow and things are what they are?
I do an astrological weather every week for a group that I have. And then, so I'm aware of it. But I guess I go back to it when something really sticks out to me. If I'm just feeling like the day is really a struggle, then I'm like, oh, let's go back and look at what's going on. Where's the moon? What are the transits? What is it? What's happening right now? Because I think that also helps validate things for me, especially studying astrology. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense now.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of astrology, we find clarity in hindsight, honestly.
Yeah.
With it, things start to make sense. We get the why behind the happening, which is, that's more my personality too, is to just be living life. And then if something happens, to go look it up. But I think it depends on your personality too. Some people, I think, would really benefit from quite literally having it on the calendar and going, okay, I'm going to work with this energy actively from August 10th to the 14th, this powerful energy of Mercury opposite Pluto. And I don't know. I want to start experimenting more with that, I think, because I'd be curious if I could harness the potency of these transits more consciously rather than letting it all happen unconsciously. I was just curious because everybody, again, is built a little bit different. And I am a very flowy person. I've got a lot of mutable energy in my chart. So, not a lot of planning or...
Yeah. Me too. And I don't like to do it too much because I don't want to put too much energy into, because you're never sure how it's going to play out. Really sure how it's going to play out. So I'm a little careful on how much attention I give to it until it's in hindsight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And for those of you who are listening, as we give you all this information too, it is just highlighting certain themes. It may show up differently for you than we describe it, but these are possibilities. And again, can be a fun thing to look back on. Or if you're a type of person who wants to really try to utilize this and harness it, we're going to give you these specific dates and the energies that are the archetypal energies, but shows up differently for everybody. Okay. On August 12th, Mars enters Cancer. Mars is shifting from quick thinking Gemini into emotionally driven Cancer. So our actions, which is primarily Mars ruled, our actions become more protective rather than reactive. So instead of asking, what can I accomplish? Cancer asks, what is worth protecting? Our motivation becomes more emotional, more instinctive, and often more connected to family, home, and belonging.
Okay, so on August 12th, we have our new moon and solar eclipse in Leo. As Leo season comes to a close, we're greeted by this powerful new moon and solar eclipse in Leo on August 12th. So new moons represent fresh beginnings, but a solar eclipse often signals a new chapter that unfolds over the coming months. Eclipses tend to open doors we don't even know are there, inviting us to step into the version of ourselves that feels more authentic and aligned. So with this eclipse in Leo, the invitation is clear. Have the courage to shine. This is a wonderful time to set intentions around confidence, creativity, leadership, joy, and self-expression. If there's a dream you've been quietly carrying in your heart, this eclipse encourages you to take that first brave step. Ask yourself, where am I ready to be seen? What gift am I ready to share with the world? If fear wasn't holding me back, what would I create? Remember, Leo reminds us that shining isn't about seeking attention. It's about living authentically. The more fully you become yourself, the more permission you give others to do the same. And essential oils that are great for support during this new moon and solar eclipse is jasmine oil. Jasmine is the oil of confidence and self-expression. It encourages you to release that self-doubt and embrace your gifts and step into your light with grace and courage. Another option would be wild orange. Wild orange is the oil of abundance and joy. It lifts your mood, sparks creativity, and reminds you to approach new beginnings with optimism and excitement. It's a wonderful oil for Leo energy because it helps you shine from a place of joy rather than fear.
Okay. And then we have coming up on August 14th, and I would say the strongest, most potent part of this energy is actually August 14th through the 17th. And this is Mercury conjunct Jupiter. And to me, this is one of the most optimistic transits of the season, especially after we had that Mercury opposition Pluto kind of intensity that kind of made us go deep. This expands us over this short little period of time here. Conversations inspire us. Our perspectives broaden. And this is wonderful energy for teaching, learning, public speaking, writing, visioning, creative brainstorming. This is big idea time, right? So ask yourself, what dream am I finally ready to speak into existence? And again, that's August 14th through the 17th is the most potent part of that energy. If you do want to grab onto it and utilize that, it gets a lot lighter than that Pluto-Mercury opposition.
On August 21st, Leo season closes with a beautiful moment of reflection. The sun, which is the ruler of Leo, joins the South Node. This is an extra potent opportunity as we wrap up Leo season to once more consciously release outdated identities, old roles, old expectations, old versions of ourselves. It's almost as though Leo season decided to close out with an exclamation point on the question, now that you've remembered who you are, what no longer belongs.
Yes, indeed. That is the whole of Leo season, at least some of it. You can always go deeper with all of these things too, with trines and squares and sextiles, and there's many things going on.
Yeah.
But those are the big highlights that we grabbed for you. A lot of really beautiful energy, I think. There's some things in there that are asking us to do the deeper work as well, but there's a lot of beauty, I think, coming for us this month. And it's Leo season. So of course it's going to be, there's brightness and joy woven into everything.
Sure. And it is what we make it, right?
Absolutely. It is all about choice. How do we choose to be in every situation? No matter how light it is or how heavy it may be, it is all up to choice. And if we really are holding that Leo archetype in our mind this month, it will definitely bring in that lightness, that authenticity, that every action comes from our heart. And I love that.
Yes, me too.
So we're going to wrap up, as we always do, with some practical ways to work with Leo season for everyone, no matter where Leo is for you, no matter what. These are just basics that everyone can utilize. The Leo archetype is fabulous at showing us life isn't meant to be just productive. It's meant to be lived. This season reconnects you with what lights you up. So follow what brings you joy. Joy isn't something you earn after you finish your to-do list. It is often a clue pointing you towards what nourishes your soul. Pay attention to the moments when you feel most alive and make space for more of them. I feel like that is an easy ask.
Yeah.
Just make more space for what makes you feel most alive. Yeah. Create something. Leo is a sign of creativity, and we are creative creatures by nature, no matter where our Leo placement is and no matter the shape creativity takes in our lives. Write, paint, garden, cook, dance, rearrange a room, or simply try something new. The goal is not perfection. It is expression. Stop waiting for permission. Notice where you've been telling yourself, I'll do that when I'm more confident, or express that piece of me when I'm better at it, or when I have more time. Interestingly, confidence usually comes after we take the courageous step, not before. And courage is a choice to do the thing even when you're scared. So ask yourself, what's one small step I can take this month towards something that's calling me? And let yourself be seen. Many of us spend our lives making ourselves smaller to fit in or avoid criticism. Leo season reminds us that authenticity is far more powerful than perfection. Share your ideas, wear the outfit, speak the truths, trust that the right people will appreciate the real you. And the truth is, the world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs an authentic one. That is Leo's sort of final message.
Absolutely. Yes. That's all we have for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us under the stars today. We hope you're leaving feeling inspired, grounded, and more connected to your inner truth.
And if you loved this episode, we would be so grateful if you would subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone you love.
If you're ready to explore your soul's path through psychological, evolutionary astrology, and personal astrological coaching, you can find Mari at yoursoulpurposeastrology.com or follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Your Soul Purpose Astrology.
And if you're ready to illuminate your birth chart and explore how essential oils can support your emotional and energetic alignment, you can find Jody at earthandskyessentials.com or at Earth and Sky Essentials on Facebook and Instagram.
And remember, your soul is always guiding you.
The magic starts within.